It's been, what, 8 hours since you and I were chatting on the radio this morning?
Nearly, yeah.
I know
Woke
how
up
much...
very, very early, yeah.
I know how much you enjoyed the question on Sheikh Mohammed's 3D printing initiative, so we can explore that one in a bit more depth and detail.
I'm getting a lot of tweets on that.
Listen, maybe we will get on to new building and construction techniques because it is important. But Khalid, if I can turn to you first of all, picking up where Costas and Albeck left off with Saudi Arabia, falling oil price, massive reform program. Where does that leave a company like Hokair that has 32 hotels that you own, operated by various brands?
Look, I personally believe that fundamentals are even stronger in light of this oil drop. The strategy shift is extremely important. The vision is absolutely the right one. And we will build on this existing momentum to carry on with our investment and hotel development in Saudi Arabia. Just let me share with you these fundamentals and that shift. Today, we have young leadership, and this is extremely important. And the way it's vehiculating the strategy is bringing up the whole country around that vision. And that's, again, a clear sign of the success of that plan. Saudi Arabia today, with its very large financial buffer, so then can sustain this, I call it the transition period of low price. Fiscal reforms, which can generate substantial, sizable amount of money to allow. And all of this is leading to have the country open. There are gonna be, and I'm certain that we will soon hear, a visa relaxation program.
Visa relaxation program?
Yes. Because what is going on in Saudi is a huge change. And the infrastructure, the holy cities, the expansion of the Haram, this is not just done like that. I mean, for sure. I mean, there are some people that they said, well, you know, no, but the strategy is there. And I think it's not because of the drop of oil. This has been planned a long time before. But now, it's an opportunity to really execute this strategy and that plan.
I'm going to go to the floor for questions very soon. If you've got any questions for any of our panelists, get ready with those. But Carlos, if I can turn to you first of all, I mean, the thing that stood out for me when we were talking this morning was just how many hotels you've got in the pipeline. You at Hilton, I mean, you are all guns blazing, whether it's a new Waldorf Astoria in the financial district here in Dubai, a high-end hotel, or the 3- and 4-star properties that are a big deal for you. You've got, how many properties is it in the pipeline now in this region?
Well, actually we're on 82 hotels in the pipeline, and we have 59 hotels that are up and running. So if you combine them, they will be like around 140 hotels.
And the oil price hasn't really dented your plans in any significant way. In fact, you say it's an opportunity, which is interesting. Explain that.
I mean, I think, yes, it's an opportunity. If you look at the comments that came from Christopher from Adia, who said, I mean, well, you know what, it's proven that there is plenty of liquidity in the market. You can tap, as an investor, you can tap into cheap financing, and nowadays governments are incentivizing investors to basically invest in their own country. So cheap financing, a lot of liquidity in the market, incentives for investors. So this is a formula for basically whoever wants to invest in mid-scale or upscale type of hotels would be, I mean, sort of clear encouragement for those investors to do so.
And when you look at when you have I'm sure you have a spreadsheet with all of the projects that you're working on. Do you see timeline slipping because of the weaker oil price and less money around? Any kind of impact at all?
Most of our projects, I mean, if you look in Saudi Arabia or in the rest of the Middle East, we have more than 70% of our projects are under construction, and those projects are fully funded. So we don't see much of a slowdown, unless, I mean,
Happy days.
honestly, I mean, yes. I mean, if you look at new projects, there is, I mean, still, I mean, a little bit of caution in the market. I mean, when you approach new projects. But as I mentioned to you, there is the momentum for mid-scale, and the mid-scale. I mean, for example, segments like for a Hilton Garden in Hampton, where a cost of an hotel will cost you approximately $150,000 per key. It really encourages investors, I mean, to invest in such kind of properties, because it's not, I mean, a high risky situation. And where there is such kind of availability of liquidity and incentives from the government, private investors are fully encouraged. We see a lot of incentives that are given to investors in Oman, in Saudi Arabia, and we saw in advance in UAE what they did, I mean, 4 years back, when they had incentivized investors by providing them a sort of waiver on taxes for the first
3 and 4 star hotels.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ramzy, let me turn to you. You tell me that one of the changes you have seen is that more of the newer projects that you're seeing have a residential component that the owner or the developer will sell. That's part of a new funding model that you're seeing. Just explain that to me and give me some examples of that.
Sure. I think we've seen during the past 2.5 years an increase in the residential components in a hotel. So we've been approached by many owners. In order to be able to fund the hotel, they rely on the residential sales. And this is typically not something that we're really keen on. However, in order to be able to grow the portfolio and grow the brands, we're now considering, we're listening more to the owners in terms of their requirements to be able to finance the hotel project.
And you're doing it, aren't you, in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai?
We've done it with the St. Regis Sariyat when we opened the project. We're considering.
And was that quite a leap of faith for you? Was that something new?
It was new. The main issue we have is that some jurisdictions don't give us the comfort that we would like to in terms of law to protect the brand. So for homeowner associations and all the strata law that is required to be able for an operator like us to have comfort that the brand sitting on the residential side will be up to our standards.
But you're doing it again on the palm with the W, so it's clearly a model that can work.
It's a model that we're looking at more and more. We look at it with cautiously. So it's something that we are more and more faced with from owners, and we're happy to look at opportunistic deals.
Right, I'm happy to throw this open to questions. Who's got the first question for our panelists? Huge amount of expertise and knowledge here. Yes, please, sir. The gentleman on the front row here. Can we get a microphone to this gentleman, please? Oh, thanks very much indeed. My colleague Chris is bringing a microphone over. If you could perhaps introduce yourself, please, sir, and then give us your quick comment or question.
My name is Samir from Saudi Arabia. I would like to ask Mr. Ramzy regarding the hospitality, especially after the merging with the Marriott. This is toward the negative of the Starwood, or is it positive it will be for Starwood?
Well, I would love to answer this question. However, unfortunately, I'm not really in a position to comment on that. So the closing is supposed to be in June, and we will be able to give you more information hopefully after June, if the closing happens.
We had, yesterday morning on my radio show, we had Alex Kyriakidis, who's the regional president of Marriott. He seems to think it will be positive. Funny that he would say that, but lots of opportunities apparently. Thank you very much indeed. Who's got the next question for our panelists, perhaps even on Saudi Arabia and the opportunities there for inbound tourism or outbound tourism? I've got loads of questions, but I'm happy to give you that opportunity. I'll come back to you in oh yes, please, sir. Gentleman towards the rear of the room.
My name is Hisham. I'm working in Kuwait. My question is for the operators. I think they must be ready if they decided to penetrate the Saudi market to localize their codes and localize their product. Like what happened with, let's say, Nescafe, when they produced Arabian coffee, while they used to produce Nescafe. Now we see some product which is localized or more local adapted. What is in their mind, Hilton or Marriott, to produce or provide a product which suits the Arabian Peninsula customs?
Carlos, first of all.
Well, actually, we are present in Saudi Arabia. We have more than 30 hotels that are under construction. So most of our hotels follow a very strict, type of brand standard. So, and we follow the codes of whatever codes, that we have to follow in Saudi Arabia. Each country has its own codes, basically. So there is not much, to localize. There is a great appetite for mid-scale, like Hilton Garden Inn and Hampton, and we are developing, those hotels based on a mutual understanding between our brand standards and the code itself. The DoubleTree by Hilton, our upscale brand, it seems that a brand that's gaining momentum in Saudi Arabia, and we never faced any type of standards that we have to localize. We have to follow a strict brand standards in terms of fire, life, and safety, and this is one of our things that we really focus on. And when it comes to design perspective, we have a specific brand narratives that follows each brand, which we call it brand attributes, basically. And definitely each of the brands should have a sort of a touch that represent the local flavor, etc., and which definitely represent the Eastern Province, Riyadh, or whatever the hotel it is located.
One of the themes that came out this morning was that perhaps this is an opportunity for Gulf hoteliers that they haven't really embraced. I think the phrase was, okay, you get the dates and the coffee when you check in, and that's the last bit of Emirati or Khaliji culture that you get. Maybe you can bring it into the restaurants or something.
I know, Haitham is here sitting in front.
Oh, there you are. Hi, Haitham, yes.
Yeah, we will continue basically with the dates and the coffee because everybody likes it. It's a great opportunity to introduce, like Mr. Ramdan just mentioned, to introduce maybe local food, which is a fusion through experienced chefs into our hotels. And this is something that we are really looking to introduce in most of our properties.